and introducing Ricky.
Yeah. So you guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so happy actually to introduce Ricky Mendez. He's on our team. He's blowing it up. He's an international, really well-known motivational speaker, and I'd say overall badass, you know? So I just, here's what I hope is that Ricky will retire me. Please, dude. It's all on you, man. No. So I'm here for you too, Ricky, and everybody on the team. So feel free to connect. And so who am I? I'm Wendy Robbins, in case you don't know. I direct and produce The Marijuana Show. It's on Amazon Prime. It's seen literally by millions. Over 10 million people have watched our show. It's like Shark Tank for the cannabis industry. So that's cool, but people come and they want hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. So we were looking for something that anybody could do from home for $300 to $1,500. I laugh every time I say that because $1,500 is so cheap in our industry. Now, for 4 years, we've been named in several financial and industry magazines. So that would be Fortune, Forbes, Inc. magazine, High Times, et cetera, as the most important people in the cannabis industry, which is cool. I say that just because we're really grateful, and I'm really grateful to Ricky because I'm totally humbly open to learn how to build a really well-trained team and to help them to be able to rank. So, and obviously, look, 30 million people are filing for unemployment and may or may not have some sort of a gig or a job to go back to. So I feel really lucky. I know you do too, Ricky, that, we're all making more money from home, right? We get to talk about health and we get to talk about money, and this is the best time to be in the industry. So, Sir Ricky, my first question to you, please, is mindset. What mindset do people really need to just truly succeed in this business? What do you think it is? What's worked for you?
I think it all starts with perspective. I think it's just how we choose to view everything in the world and our challenges and our opportunities. And I don't think it's rocket science. I genuinely, sincerely look as right now the greatest time to be alive. I think we'll never have another time like this to gain new skills, to expand our mind to what's possible, nor to grow relationship capital. I think relationship capital will out-monetize any capital ever because it's exponential, just like the business that we're in, which is the most powerful business model on the planet, which is network marketing. But I think once we look at that perspective, I have two choices. I can go into the rabbit hole of crap and garbage and fear and pump myself full of that, or I can decide to be a part of a community that's empowered, surrounded by positive people, and gain new skills, and then look at the world in a way, how can I thrive? How can I learn? And what relationships can I grow? So I think it's just a perspective shift that I think not only the greatest thing about what's going on right now is it's forcing us to adapt. It's forcing us, in my opinion, it's like slowing the game down, And what's unbelievable right now is the meme game is hilarious. Yeah. So, it is just, that's just flat out, it's hilarious right now. And I remember seeing one that said, like, I feel like the universe just told us all to go to our rooms and think about what we've done. And I think that's hilarious, but I think it's great because what it does to me is it's having me slow the game down a little bit. And really, it's forced me to take inventory of all the things that I'm grateful for. So that's I think it starts with just a choice and perspective of how we're going to view not only the world, but us and the ones that we love.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, I think that there's something, especially about the American culture, about instant gratification, and what I've learned is to be grateful every day, like you're talking about, and to really come from the heart. And I think what's so cool about our business is all the leaders, all the people that are doing better than anyone are really leading from the heart. And so there's this beautiful caring and building each other up, which I have never experienced before. So I know you're very familiar with network marketing. To me, this is a brand new game, and I love it, love it, love it. So what would you say, Ricky, are maybe the skills that an affiliate needs to master to epically succeed in the business? What skills do they need?
I think it's very similar to what skills are needed in life. And I think the greatest skill on the planet that so few activate is very simple. Ask for help. Ask for help. It's not complicated. Like, this is not rocket science, but we're so afraid to ask for help because we live in a society who actually deem that as like weakness. And when we think about our goals and dreams, we all got goals and dreams, right? We all have something that we want to accomplish in life. We all have something. So the goals and dreams that we want to accomplish, very likely a human before has done it. And I bet you that they did not do it alone. They had somebody to help them. They had mentorship. They had somebody to go to. They had somebody to keep helping them be persistent. But yet we look at asking for help and we think it comes from weakness. It doesn't. In my opinion, it comes from brutal strength. And it's one of the greatest skills on the planet that so few activate. So that's again why this is the most powerful business model. My business partner, Sean Giovanni, is here. And he says, hey man, you talk about asking for help a lot. Why don't on our team calls, one person a week step up and say, hey, this is what I need help with in my life, whether it's Prime, whether it's a business, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's their personal life or whatever. And I was like, that's a damn good idea. So now on our team calls, we have one person every week that says, hey, this is what I need help with in my life. And then our whole team rallies around them to help facilitate that help, whether it be in their business or whatever. But I think that applies to this business. I think it applies to life in any aspect that we look at.
Yeah, totally. And I really feel like, you know, there's a real need to understand mastery and really knowing that you're the source, right? So you're writing your story, and the stuff that maybe defeated you or that you used to sabotage yourself with just can't hold your attention anymore, because this game doesn't really allow for that. It really asks you to show up as a leader. You know, and even if you don't know what you're doing, like you said, just keep asking, ask. So I read that 97% of the people in network marketing fail, and 95% in real business, you know, and in any other kind of brick and mortar fail. And I think a lot of it is just really here showing up humbly and just saying, help.
Yeah.
You know, what do I do? And study from the masters, right? Which is why I ask you to be on a call, or JT to be on a call, or, you know, Aaron to be on a call.
Absolutely. And that's something that, I mean, you think you said you had to hit the words right on the head, right? Just show up. And that's what so few people, I think, when we lack persistence, first of all, persistence and perseverance will outplay talent any day of the week. Somebody that's going to dedicate themselves to persistence and perseverance, I'll take that over talent any day of the week. And because when talent gets kicked in the teeth, they may not be persistent. You can have all the talent in the world, but at some point, the crap storm is going to come. At some point, the obstacles are going to come. So when we look at that, just showing up, that's why, again, this is the most powerful business model on the planet, because really all you got to do is show up, because you have a team in a community that's willing to support you, that actually succeeds when you succeed. In corporate America, a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of the times, for one person to fail and one person to succeed, another person has to fail. Here it's the exact opposite. I cannot be successful by myself. I can only be successful and reach the heights that I want to reach unless other people are successful at all. So instead of a race to, you know, utter success for one person, we're all moving at a similar pace as we all go. So I think that's one of the coolest parts about it, is because I can only be successful if I make sure that other people are successful.
Yeah, that, you know what, that was a really tricky one for me because Karen and I are really solid in recruiting. So we're really good at that. Now we've gotten good at training, but before we didn't train because we didn't know what we were doing. And also because we kept thinking it had to be us, because that's a mindset that when we do our show or anything else, if it's to be, it's up to me. And this has been really interesting to watch. This thing of lifting people up, nourishing, nurturing, and watching people just go like, I got it. You know, when they get the first 4, you're like, oh my God, you know, totally different mindset. Or to watch you, Ricky, like you're blowing up. You made more money than we did this month, and we're up above you, so to speak. And I'm like, bring it, you know, bring it, like do it. So now I'm in a friendly competition, not a competition, a co-opetition with you to go like, all right. It's like you did the 4-minute mile. I get it. I'm there.
I love that. Yeah. And that's, thank you. Number one, I appreciate that. And it's the same thing. Like, you know, just like Sean, we wouldn't have had the synergy that we have now if it weren't for Sean. Sean also, I'll give him another shout out, but we're a little bit older in terms of a lot of people on our team, and we're not social media people. Like I didn't even have a social media account until 2 years ago. And I always viewed it, my ego got in the way. And, you know, when we look at ego, my mentors taught me to say, edging goodness out of our lives or edging gold out of our lives. And my ego would tell me it's self-promotional, you know, egotistical. And so both Sean and I kind of had like some misperceptions about social media. And Sean decided to post something on his he posts for his business, but in his personal page. And we were all like, oh man, we all commented or linked. And then Sean came up with another thing and he says, okay, let's have a social media campaign. And so now we have scheduled posts and everybody likes and comments the algorithms or whatever the heck on social media allows it. And when he did that, he actually got 3 people, I think it was 3 people in one day for one of his teammates that wanted to enroll just because they saw the synergy of the team. So if that's something that's so powerful, because it's the power of us. And I love what you said. And if it is to be, it's up to me. It's literally on my vision board right there.
Oh.
It's right there. And now just from you and I collaborating, I want to think of a rhyme because I love rhymes and I love Dr. Seuss, but I want to think of a rhyme that ends with us. So maybe me and you can work on that.
Oh, totally. No fuss. You know, I'm with you. Let's get on a bus. Okay. So yeah. Oh, I have to send you, because I sent it to JT in Austin, a rap that you're going to love that is a Dr. Seuss.
Nice.
And it's a guy and everything rhymes with Knox, but he doesn't say Knox. I mean, Bob
Nice.
Socks, you know, so I will make sure, note to self. So, you know, you brought me to the next question, which I was going to say 2 parts to the question is, how do you authentically recruit, right? And what do you say to somebody, like you don't know them necessarily, but you're recruiting? And then secondly, social media. I'm going to let 3 more people on. Boom. Welcome new people. So yeah, I think there's something about, you know, people don't want to be cheesy, like, hey, how you doing? Love your eyes. So, you know, it's like, how do I do a pickup line for people that are potentially, that I want to recruit into my business?
Yeah. So the first part of the question is, for me, it depends on what relationship I have with that person. If I have a very strong relationship, they know, trust, and love me. They know where my heart is. They know that I've been successful in another arena or whatever. And I got in trouble for saying this on a company call, so I'm going to use a little bit of abbreviation. But literally, if it's somebody that trusts me and I have this relationship with them, and I know that they will understand where my heart is, I will say, dude, give me your effing credit card. I have something for you. Trust me. Literally that simple. And I think we all have at least 1 or 2 people that we can go to and we can say those things. Now that's only a very select few, right? But now in terms of recruiting outside of social, what I'm going to do very simply is I literally text people, hey, if it's somebody that I'm not so close with, do you take CBG? And they simply say, do you mean CBD? And if they think it's an autocorrect, I say, no, CBG, it's a stem cell of the plant. Deals with neurogenesis, brain health, regeneration of nervous tissue in the brain, does a couple quick things, mother cannabinoid, whatever we want to say. I say something to induce questions, and then bam, we're off to on an opportunity call, or we're off to a 3-way call. And what I usually say is 20 minutes on this call could change the next 20 years of your life. So that's the way I kind of lead into it. And if it's somebody that I do have a great relationship, not quite the give me your effing credit card type statement, but if somebody that I'm close with, I'll simply say, hey man, this is something, or hey, my friend, this is something that I honestly and sincerely, genuinely want you to take a look at. This is something that I believe is a global impact on humanity play. And I am investing my time, energy, and money into my best version of me. And I will say, I would love to have you on this journey with me. So it depends a little bit on kind of those different arenas on how well that I know somebody. Regarding social, this is my personal opinion. So I never really post on things that are saying like, you know, DM me this, or send me a message this, or join our team this. Everything is about, and it's a lot of times it's not even about CBD. If I do post anything on social, it's educational, it's knowledge. And I usually, my go-to is CBG if I do post about that, and I'll just see mother cannabinoid, stem cell of the plant, neurogenesis, something along those lines. I never ask for a DM, I never ask for a message, and I never ask for people to join my team. We may ask for a call to action in terms of like what you're grateful for or something like that, but it is something where I believe this is not a tell and attack business. I believe this is a share and attract business. And I believe that's how we attract people. Most of what I post about is about the team. I'll send a screenshot just like this, and I'll see I'm learning from my team. And I want it to come from radical humility. Or I think the number one thing is in sales is that you promote yourself by promoting others. So I'll always share with a team or somebody who's doing some successful things or whatever the case. But that's generally, it's about overall abundance for me on social. It's about prosperity. It's about living a greater life. It's about a life that's more than enough. Those types of kind of 50,000 foot view things that I post on.
Kind of lifestyle, just here I am just chilling, having a good time, or, when we're all in Mexico, just that kind of thing. I like that. We post stuff like that, or we'll, with the dogs, like, hey, here's my dog, send me a picture, cute picture of your dog, da, 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 da. When I notice it's an older dog, like we have an older dog that's 14. So we'll just honestly comment back and forth. And the truth is, I swear to God, day 3, he's running. Now, day 1, he was like this, like a really old guy, like, ugh, except for with a deeper voice. And then he would be like, limping like that. And you'd be like, oh God, it's so terrible. It's so terrible, his quality of life. But he eats, he loves, and now running. So there you go.
With pause?
Yeah, with pause. Yes. 3 days, dude. If you know anyone with an old pet, they'll feel younger, guaranteed. Right. So the next question, are people waiting to get on? So in a minute, I'll let them. They're late. So we were talking about team members, and team members, it's almost like we're aspen trees. So we're all connected. If one dies, everybody dies. If everybody lives and thrives and we all thrive, we're connected to a root system. So who is your dream team member, and why? Like, what skills do they need to really excel, and why are they a dream member?
Great question. I've done a lot of these and I haven't gotten that question yet. So literally when you say dream team member, I think of her name's Amy Sorter. And I think that, look, I'll just give you I'll try to do this in 60 seconds. Amy was getting a promotion to her job, making more money than she ever made. She quit her job to join our team. She is in Nashville. I love Nashville. Don't get me wrong, but it's also a small town. And in my interpretation, sometimes in small towns, there can be small thinking. Amy went and brought this out like gangbusters to people. Amy was discouraged, doubted, judged, said, Amy, that's not you. You shouldn't do that. Literally, I can show you text messages from her family saying, this is a scam. What are you doing? You're an embarrassment. That level of non-support, the people that she thought would support her, don't support her. And then she purposely moves out of her house to come down and to move to Los Angeles, right? She wants to move. So she purposely doesn't pay rent. What happens? A global pandemic. Now she's on somebody's couch with somebody who didn't support her because she has no place to go. So what does she do? She finally goes and cat sits for somebody. There's a gas leak. She has to call the fire department. She feels sick. She gets put in an ambulance and 10 fire trucks show up. Present day. But she's staying persistent. She is staying perseverant through all the crap storms. 99.9% of people in Amy's situation would have quit, and they would have quit a long time ago. So give me somebody who is going to go through the crap storms. Give me somebody who will commit to persistence and to that, who is that indebted to their higher quality of life and the best version of them, no matter what we say, no matter what people say, no matter how much we're doubted. That's the person. That is my dream team member right there.
Yeah. And it's amazing how many people quit. And somebody said that, I don't know who, also when we were in Mexico, and they said, I wish somebody would just say, yeah, they buy the stuff and, they're an affiliate and you're excited. And that you would just say, you know what, just if they would just say, like, I'm never going to call you, just burn my number right now. Like, I bought your stuff and I'm done. And, I've thought about that because there are people, you start out and you're all excited and then boom, they quit on themselves. And there's only so much I can do to, to resurrect somebody. If they're not into it, they're not into it. But let me ask you something else. You're a big influencer. So Dara reached out to you. You guys went to high school or college or whatever together. And, how do you reach out to a big influencer? I saw a picture of you with Les Brown. Les Brown wrote something on my book, him and Harv Eker and Bob Allen and Mark Victor Hansen, all those guys. So they're all influencers. But how do you inspire them to be on your team if you don't personally know them, or where do they hang out and what do you say to them?
So I think it stems back to relationship capital, and Janice wrote something in the chat box. I love firing up the chat box, so if you want to drop a comment, I love that. So thank you.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think from relationship capital stems everything. Because I'll give you a perfect example. I recently did an event with one of my biggest mentors, Tom Bilyeu. He founded Quest Nutrition, Quest Bars. He's a founder. He sold it for over $1 billion.
Wow.
I did a talk at Keller Williams. Keller Williams had a person in that event that asked me to coach him. I sent him my menu. He couldn't afford it. I said, look, my mentor, David Meltzer, told me to help people and to be of service. I'll help you. If you ever can help me, great. If not, that's okay. So we did coaching, and then he brought me to Tom. Tom was inside Quest, was El Segundo. He moved it to Impact Theory, which is in his house. And he said, hey, do you want to come meet Tom Bilyeu? I said, yes, of course. And so he brought me into that house and into that arena where I was able to build a relationship from there. But relationship capital and being of service, if we're truly, truly of service, we will give to give, not give to get. And when we can separate those two, that's a massive differentiator, in my opinion, in life, to give and not give to get. I also did a free training with Monet. Monet, I love those girls. The hair care is not necessarily for me, although I did support them. But I did a free training for them. One of them asked the girl that brought me on. The girl that brought me on knew worked at Nest Seekers. They gave me to somebody in Nest Seekers. That person put me in touch with the CEO. The CEO hired me for an event, and now I might be on retainer with Nest Seekers. Relationship capital. It's the number one thing. Even if you don't know these people, there's somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who might be able to get you in touch. And if we have a greater later vision on how we can impact the world, then people will align with us because of why we believe in what we believe. Not so much what we do, but how we believe we can impact the world. So when we develop those kind of personal mission statements, vision statements, and we have a greater later, now we can start to share that. And just like network marketing, it becomes exponential growth. And that in some way, shape, or form can get to the people and, more importantly, resonate with people on a different level.
Yeah, no, I love that. You know, Russell Brunson was talking, and he was saying that he creates a list of if you guys don't know who Russell is, he's one of the better network marketer. Well, he's a good network marketer, but he's a really good coach and what is it called? Marketing. Duh. So he's really good. He's mind, mouth. We're aligned. All right, we're good. So, but basically what he did is he created a dream 100 of people that he thought like, oh man, I don't even know how the heck I'm going to get to these people. I'm going to figure it out. So Tony Robbins was one of his people. He took a year and he said exactly what you did. Tony, you don't know the internet marketing thing. You know, I'll help you. I'll make a funnel for you. And so now they're really, really good friends, really tight. So anytime, you know, Russell has anything, Tony's always on it. So that might be something, is create your list of 100 people that are just real incredible people that you're not sure how you're going to get to, but you're going to figure it out, you know, and
reach out,
cool
just ask, ask. This is the greatest time to build relationships. People are home. They're home and they're willing to listen more than they ever have before. So if I would suggest we don't want to waste this time. There's never been a better time in the world to build relationships. So if there's 50 people you want to reach out to on Instagram or whatever, and you can knock that out at 5 a day or 10 a day or whatever is comfortable for you to do consistently, then reach out. What do we have to lose? We have nothing to lose.
Exactly. Well, and your point is consistency. And I think that's, you know, consistency and persistence. Those are the two real gems. And I don't know why that's so dang hard for people, but it seems to be. So how do you overcome the objection? Oh no, this isn't an MLM, is it?
I love this objection. It is my favorite objection. Holy crap. So I deal with it in one of two ways. Number one, I will simply ask. I can definitely understand that. Do you mind me asking where you got that perception from? They can't answer the question. It's unbelievable because it'll go back to somebody's father's brothers, sisters, cousins, brothers, uncles, nieces. Somebody bought some product and then never did anything with it. So I just simply ask that question. Do you mind me asking where you got that perception from? And when they go, and they will go and they will puke and let them purge and let them get out whatever they got to get out. And then I simply ask, do you mind me sharing my perception? Because I believe that the world is such negative in nature, but also they have such a lack of education on how these companies actually operate. So for me, it's unlocked so much freedom in my life. Not only that, but I'm around an empowered community surrounded by positive people, badass entrepreneurs. I specifically deal in the health space. So I'm dealing with brain health, gut health, immune health, the ways to make residual income, passive income. If the world's not starving for that right now, I don't know what they are. Because out there where people are freaked out, passive income or residual income or multiple streams is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity. And I wear it like a badge of honor because of the people that I'm associated with. They're some of my favorite people in the world. And then if there's a video I want them to watch, I was like, look, I would really, really appreciate, I respect, I love you. I'd love if I could share this video with you, and I could just get your feedback, your honest, constructive feedback, because this is something I'm investing my time in to increase my quality of life and my life trajectory. I want to change it. I want to be the best version of me. I believe that's what the world is starving for. So if you give me some feedback on that, I would really, really appreciate that. So that's kind of how I handle that. But I simply ask that question because people cannot answer it.
No, they can't, or they'll say something because it goes way back to, somebody, I bought a whole garage full of stuff and yeah, I didn't reach out to anybody, but it didn't work. It's like, okay, yeah. Woo, can't wait to work with you. So, okay, now let's get into training because that's something that you're really exceptional at. And so I'd like you to we're just going to pretend, okay? I'm a new affiliate and I'm somebody that, that's hungry. So I'm hungry. I'm not a big influencer, right? But would you take me through the training day 1 to day 28? Because I've got 28 days to attract 4 people, that I love to my business. So what do I need to specifically do to attract at least 4 of my team within 28 days? What does my day look like? What am I doing? And
Sure.
what I'm looking for, kind of, Ricky, is like a blueprint or a system to win the game. If we're in the game.
So the number one thing I want people to do is think about the impact that they want to have on the world. I think that's what we're playing for. We're playing for a global impact, whether it be monetary, whether it be impact on people's lives, whether it be their siblings, whether it be a health, whatever it is. What's the impact that you want to have on the world? For example, mine is I want to help solve the world's happiness problem. I think we have a happiness problem. We're taking more pills and we're sicker than we've ever been. I want to help the world's happiness problem. So once they know what their impact is that they want to make on the world, very simply, from there, now I start just divvying up into very small pieces. What's the impact, number 1? And now 2, what do I got to do to get there? Well, I got to develop some persistence. So what does it mean to me when I start to have an impact on people? How do I feel? Well, I feel inspired. I feel motivated. I feel like I'm making a difference. I feel loved. I feel like appreciated. I feel like I have purpose. I feel like a fulfillment. What are those 2 things of how I feel when it's all said and done and I have my impact on the world or impact on people? And then the one thing I want them to do is persistence plays over everything. It outplays talent every single day of the week. So I want them to know that the universe does not reward scale. It will reward consistency. Scale is irrelevant. Consistency is everything. So whatever we feel like we want to do, we want to reach out to whatever. I don't care if it's 1 person a day. I don't care if it's 5 minutes a day. What I chose specifically was 15 minutes a day. That's 1%. 15 divided by 1,440. That's how many minutes we have on a day. I can spend 1% of my day for my greater later in the impact on the world. So when we phrase it like this, now it's so easy to get in because I'm not thinking scale. I'm building a process for consistency and perseverance. So for me, it was like, I can commit to myself. I can commit to the best version of myself for 1% of my day. And now, as I go through that, I'm just simply reaching out and understanding that it's the most powerful business model on the planet because we get to leverage other people's help. And then from there, I want them to ask for help and understand that our compensation plan is not only the most powerful business model, it's the most powerful compensation plan within the most powerful business model, within the most powerful time to be alive, within the most powerful industry that we'll ever have, which is hemp. So within 15 minutes, I want you to reach out to people, and then I want you to leverage my help and our team's help. So we're exercising persistence, perseverance, asking for help, and understanding that we're playing the infinite game. And now we understand that all we need is 4, fabulous 4. The company will take a 25% commission, which is already above industry standard, well above industry standard. They're going to double it. They're going to make it retroactive, and they're going to uncap it. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So that's why people can make such a return so quickly. There's nothing like that, in my opinion, in the world right now. So that's the kind of vision that I want them to have, but I want them to attach it to their best version of themselves, meaning what is their greater later? What is their impact that they're fighting for? Because when the crap comes, it's going to come. The challenges and the obstacles are guaranteed. Success is not. So when it comes, I have this core that I can go to, so I can remain persistent with little bite-sized pieces, because I remember what I'm fighting for, and I remember I have the support of the team and the community, that I don't have to do everything myself. So that's what I want people to know in their first 28 days.
Yeah. And it is astounding to me how many people literally don't make that goal of reaching their 4 within 28 in my experience. Different on your team. So that's why I really want even more to dive a little bit deeper, because you know, people have excuse, oh, I want to try the product first, or I want to, you know, I mean, it's like, dude, Karen and I brought in 46 people in our first 10 days. There wasn't even they had the product, but the shipping was so delayed that we didn't get it until like a long time after, and we brought all those people in. So, you know, very different mindset, right? So it's like, it's either you're in it to win it, you know, or, you know, go big or go home, whatever analogy you want to use. But how do you inspire the people that do that stuff of, like, you know, having excuses instead of the life of their dreams?
So I think we're all programmed. So if we look at the brain, our brain are the main function are two things: conserve energy, keep us safe. Conserve energy, keep us safe. That is our brain's major function. If we truly look at neuroplasticity and how the brain operates, it's meant to keep us safe. 7 million years old and it's never adapted. Abundance and prosperity is our job. It's meant to keep us safe. So it's constantly looking for negativity to keep us safe. That's why change is so difficult. We want to think scale. We shouldn't. We should think little consistent bite-sized pieces. So it's a simple limiting belief. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources, blah, 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 blah. We're programmed for that. That's okay. We can rewrite the programming. Now, when we come into that, what I simply do is I just share, look, I share what I believe in. When this was brought to me, Dara, my dear friend and mentor, I was in Australia. I was going from Australia to LA, from LA to New York to, I think it was Miami to Nashville, back to New York, back to LA. And I said, I don't have the time for this, Dara. I literally said that. And then I said, hey, Ricky, hey, a-hole, I'm trying not to swear on calls. Hey, a-hole, practice what you preach and reinverse that on a way that will serve you. So instead of saying, I don't have the time, I said, what do I have the time for? I'm traveling all over the world. My business is thriving. What do I have the time for? What can I commit to? And that's when I came up with 15 minutes a day. So when people tell me that, I acknowledge it, and I just simply tell them what I believe in. I believe I'm in this for the greater later and the best version of me. And because of the support of my team and the people that have taught me what they've taught me, I look at things and I try to change perceptions, because I had that same limiting belief. Instead of saying I don't have the time, I say, what do I have the time for? Can't afford it? What can I afford? Don't have the energy? What do I have the energy for? So when I'm able to change perception like that, it's served me in my life. And that's what we try to share with other people.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's huge. I'm going to let somebody else in. Welcome. No, I think that's you know, that's really big. So let's talk about the sort of mastering the mundane, right? The rather than the mindset and all that, let's go into the activities that somebody typically would need to do. Let's say that their goal was to make 10K a month. No, and again, you guys, as we're going through this, I want to be really clear. There are no income claims. You could make nothing. You can make $75,000 a week. The people that have come under you and your team can make more money than you. You know, it's very different than a typical job that you would have, or, you know, a typical thing like that. But I just want to be clear. We are talking about money or a particular goal. There is no guarantee. So, you know, and then basically what I'm thinking are like the top income producing, revenue producing activities you can do to reach that goal of at least 10K a month. And would you have a blueprint, you know, like a daily thing that you would do?
Yeah, so I think it just always will stem back to persistence, because we may not hit that in the first 2-3 months. Again, and the only claim that I do make is if you do absolutely nothing, you will make no money. That's what I can. But I think it comes back to persistence, because really the compensation plan is so set up. It is so set up in your first 28 days to make a return. I think it's genius, because they're not transactional. What our company has done is played the infinite game or the long game. So when they're not transactional on the front end, I know their margins, whatever the margins are, have to be minimal when people hit that that first 4 and they're paying out 50% commission and it's uncapped. That's insane to me. I literally said it on a company call. I said that was almost irresponsible of the company. But it's genius because when people are able to get off to a good start or have that a potential at least, they stick around. Now we're playing the long game. So in terms of income producing activities throughout the day, for me, it is simply leveraging the people on my team. And when we talk about energies and frequencies and vibrations, it's something that is like, I think it's a high energy, high frequency, high vibration word is leverage, because I want to leverage other people's help. So literally it's that easy for me. I am literally just texting people. And if they're on one of our opportunity calls, I'm going to ask them if they haven't joined to come on the next one. I'm going to ask them for feedback. I'm going to invite. I'm going to ask them for feedback. I'm going to invite. I'm going to, this isn't rocket science. Like the answer isn't sexy. Like it's not a super sexy answer. And it's probably like not as insightful as people would wish because it's not that simple. It's not that complicated. So what I typically do is I'm just texting people. I have a certain amount of the day that I designate to my outreach. And I'm just texting people if they've been on an opportunity call. I'm going to ask them what their feedback was. Do you think it's for you? And until they tell me, stop texting me or they block me, I will continue to reach out. I think the greatest sales book on the planet is Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss because it teaches persistence, perseverance, and all he does is ask. Sam I am. He just says, do you want green eggs, ham here or do you want them there? Do you want them on a boat or do you want them on a moat? He just keeps asking. So it's a very unsexy answer, but the answer is just stay at it, your normal, boring activities every single day. And when we master the mundane, we get to live an extraordinary life, in my opinion.
Totally agreed. Totally agreed. So do you do stuff like write down your goal, write down the rank that you want to be in? Do you have somewhere written out how much money you want to make, like on your computer? Do you put a check for $1 million in your wallet? Do you, that kind of thing? Do you do any of that kind of stuff? Do you make a list? Do you do a daily list? Do you see?
I kind of do all of those things that you just mentioned. So literally I used to have a check on my vision board. I reached that goal. So my morning routine is very simple. It's long, but it's pretty simple. Okay. I read a gratitude poem, challenge side, easy side. I read a self-confidence formula. I read a personal constitution on the way I want my life to look like. I go through my prosperity plan, money goals, health goals, relationship goals, contribution goals. And then I read 10 affirmations, 6 quotes, and then a happy to be alive poem. So it takes about 25, 30 minutes. And that's my morning routine. I've done it every day except for 2 since January 6th of 2016. Now, that allows me to play the long game. It allows me to play the persistent game. So in terms of monetary value, yes. I mean, I can literally, it's over there, but it's something where my greater later income is $10 million a year passively. Now I have multiple streams. So this is one of those streams, again, no claims, but this is one of those streams that I'm fully intending for me to get me to that mark. And so I have it written down in my prosperity plan. I have it written down on my whiteboards. I had one written down on my vision board. So it's around me constantly. And $10 million passively a year, have people done this in the world? Absolutely. In fact, I'm probably playing too small.
You are.
I think I am too.
Let me coach you, dude. 100, let's add an extra 0.
All right.
100 million, massive. You can give more to charity, more to, what you want. And I know you're not like, how many nice cars and houses can we have? So it's service. But anyway, go on. All right. So 10 million, now 100 million.
100 million. So that's something passively is the big word for me because the power of this business allowed me. I love what I do. I am super fulfilled with what I do, but it's transactional. Somebody hires me to speak, I go and speak, I get paid. I speak, I get paid. I speak, there's nothing residual about it. So that's something that when you put multiple 7 figures around and you put it passively, 8 figures, 9 figures, when you make that word passive, to me, that's a whole nother ball game now. So I have it all around me and everything that I do is built around that core of helping solve the world's happiness problem. Now I can build different businesses, different streams without getting stressed out like spokes on a wheel. Because I have that core and my brain is trained to remember that core when the crap storm comes.
Yeah, I'm with you. What about, is there a CRM system that you found works? Because one thing I found, we reach out to a lot of people. I've got my little list, my thing. And sometimes I've sucked at, wait, when did I, what?
Yeah.
So do you use a certain system that you really like?
I'm actually in the search for one, and it was funny. I think it was Scott Freeman who sent something. I'm actually going to call him
Yes.
this week about some type of CRM, because I love whiteboards. So I literally have 5 whiteboards in my house. I'm constantly writing things because I like the idea of writing things down to trigger the subconscious. So I use Google, a Google Calendar and those types of things, but I actually am searching for something that I can have my go-to with everything there. So I'm gonna leverage the knowledge, the experience, the time of my teammates. Even though he's not in my organization, I'm gonna ask for help and say, hey man, can you spend a few minutes with me explaining this and tell me what the benefits are?
Absolutely. And he sent it to us, so I will
Nice.
make sure to send it to you. Yeah, that's the way it works, you guys. Simple, simple, simple. Leverage, ask, follow through, persistence. So that's awesome. I'm seeing if there's other questions that I have here. I know we're getting down to sort of the end. Okay, so let's say that I am on your team and I call you and I just go, man, I am not motivated. Like I'm thinking of quitting. I've just had like so much, I'm not good with rejection. It just brings up stuff. It triggers me. And so, I'm ready to give up. Like, dude, sorry. I've had enough. So
Yeah, I would say number
say
one,
bye.
thank you for reaching out. I appreciate that. I appreciate the honesty. And I would say, absolutely, I have been there. And that's not a problem with you specifically. That's a global problem. That's a humanity problem, okay? And one thing that if we can just chat a little bit, you would be able to help me whether you want to continue in this business or not. And then I would direct them back to what we started with. What is your core? What is your greater later? What is the impact that you want to have on the world? Because likely when that happens, and people bring that to me, they've completely forgotten about why we started this in the first place. When we can detach back to what we want and why, it's both. So many people talk about the why, but before we know the why, we got to know what it is we want. So, and I can also share with something about the why. When we trace the why back far enough, it's going to lead to contribution. It's going to lead to inspiration of somebody else. It's going to lead to helping somebody else, because it's the greatest feeling on the planet. It's contribution. So the why will always be traced back to helping somebody or something else. What we can use to fuel that is the what. So the what I want is to help solve the world's happiness problem, because I think that is what the world is starving for. So when we can come back to the what and the why, and we sit down and we revisit that, and chances are, because nobody loves rejection, but if I told you that you were 1,000 no's away from that greater later, if I was 1,000 no's away from help solving the world's happiness problem, I would be psyched at no number 562. Give me 563, give me 564. Now I look at no's as just simply a path and a feedback mechanism and feedback and data to get to what I'm fighting for. So I would just revisit that before they were like, maybe it's not for you. And that's okay too. But I want them to understand what they're giving up. And it's not about the money. I don't chase money. I don't chase lifestyle. I chase impact. Show me impact, solving problems and helping people. Now I earn the right to make a great income. So I would just detach it to what we started for. Remember what they're fighting for and how this is a great vehicle to get to that end game.
Yeah, I think that's totally it. I've started doing something new with our team, and we just started it like today, actually, which is right. So it's like constantly learning. So the biggest thing was people weren't really getting their 4. So I get it. Obviously, if you look at that, it's not making phone calls, not reaching out, not texting, not just sort of already being like, I don't know if I can do this thing, doubt, fear, backwards. So now what we do is every day we get on together and just knock out those 10 calls. So that way, if somebody's got, right then and there, something that isn't going right, it's like, boom, we're here. We're here to help you and stuff. So ideally what would happen is, essentially we say, check out this video. And we ask a couple things, check out a video. Are you cool with watching it today? I just sent you a link. Did you get it? Yeah, you did? Cool. So do me a favor, watch it. You can have questions. I know that. I'd like to hook up with my business partner, and tomorrow, 1 or 2, what works best? Great. I'm sending you a Google invite right now. Mm-hmm. So urgency, because we weren't doing that. And now what happens is the next day at 4:20, everyone checks in and goes, yeah, I did my 10 calls. No, I didn't. Here's the result of it. Here's what I need help with.
Yeah.
So it's to be accountable. Do you do something too for accountability for your tribe?
Yeah, well, we have a team call every Sunday night at 6, and people are welcome to come to our team call. Everybody, our Facebook group, everybody's welcome to join this team call this Sunday. If people want to join, I'm leading it. We alternate people who are leading the team call, and we're looking for more leaders to do that. But that Sunday night, we specifically chose Sunday night because people get the Sunday night scaries. And, you know, every day is another hilarious meme as I saw Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and everything was crossed out. So it was just day because everything's day now. But that was hilarious too. But we specifically chose Sundays because we want to start on the going into the week. So that's kind of like our accountability method. It's just once a week, but our WhatsApp group like literally goes off every day with people asking for help. If people got a question, they ask, they fire it, they welcome the people who enrolled people the day before, they welcome to the WhatsApp group where all that thing is constantly going, probably about 100 to 150 texts a day, I would say. Maybe not that much, but around 50 to 150 a day.
Good, it's a good engagement.
Complete and total engagement. And sometimes I pick up my phone, like right now I have 132 messages that I haven't checked yet.
Wow.
But I know I can feel it. I can feel the synergy. I may catch up with all the messages or I may not. That's okay, because I know that synergy's there. And now we go into our team calls on Sundays where we can focus a little bit more, regroup, and there's a training on something, whether it's the business or whether it's life or whatever. So that's kind of how we handle the accountability aspect of it. And that first 4 is just, I mean, if I told you it took 20 no's to get 4, if people enroll with the same package that you got, if you just do the math, I mean, we're talking anywhere between like 178 and this term I know we shouldn't use, or I'll say return OI. I'll just say that because I don't think I can say the full phrase. But return OI. If you do the math and you get 4 people that enrolled with the same pack, it's between like 150 and like 200%. I mean, how in the world? That means we're playing for profit from here on out. We're playing with profit from here on out. So that is like, there is an absolute sprint to get to that. If I told you that it took 20 no's, 30 no's, 50 no's to get that type of return OI, I mean, my goodness, let's sprint to that. And then once we're past that, whether we hit it or not, because we have people that enrolled 20 in their first 28 days, and we have people that enrolled 0. But still, there's a place for you because we can still play the long game. We can still play the infinite game. But that's kind of how we handled most of the accountability. It's a day-to-day on the WhatsApp, and then it's a team meeting at night on Sundays.
Cool. No, I like that. So last question would be about duplication. So let's say that the people I personally enroll do really well, but the people that they bring in are not as motivated or aren't as connected, or this, in other words, the systems have broken down a little bit. So, you know, maybe they're doing less welcome calls, less presentations, not holding people accountable. And so let's just say that the team starts to fall apart. How do you ensure that that doesn't happen and that the team really masters duplication and, like you said, using leverage?
Yeah. So we're starting to do something to try to combat that. And number one, when people do disengage, number one, it's just part of the nature. Some people are just going to disengage, right? Mm-hmm. There's 2 words. There's 2 ways that I'm looking at this. Number one is 2 words. And my dear friends, Dara, Aaron, and Net, they told me this from the beginning. Plug in. Plug in. Get to the team calls. Now, for me, I have 3 different LLCs. I got an S Corp. I got 6 different streams as of now. So I told them, I was like, look, there's not a chance. What I said was, there's no way I can do it. And then I said, I'm going to choose not to be on every company call. There's no way. But what I will do is I'll commit to 100%. And then as time frees up or I dedicate more time, then I'll go to 2. But plug in how you can. Our team, if people want my help and they ask for my help, if they ask and they're plugging in, I'm all for it. If you ask for my help and you're not plugging in, you're going to go to the bottom of the totem pole. It's just that simple. I think that's fair. So plugging in is so vitally important. That's what Dara, Aaron, Annette, Scott, Lily, Veronica, Justin, Austin, JT, they've all told me. And every time I plug into a call, it fires me up. So that's one thing that I do constantly, that I know there's a resource, there's a reservoir there to get that spark back. So that's what I tell people. If you want my help, I'm happy to give it. I want you to ask, but There's the people at the top of the totem pole that are plugging in. The people that make the calls, our team calls, the people that are showing up, they're on my top of the priority list. And then if I get through all of them and then somebody asks for my help that's not plugging in, then I'm happy to help you. But it's going to be at the bottom of the totem pole. I think that's fair. Now, the second thing that we're doing is kind of innovative, and everybody's welcome to come to these. We are doing what's called opportunity calls. And this is the ultimate leverage, because one of the biggest limiting beliefs is I don't have the time. Even at 15 minutes, people tell me they don't have the time. I'm like, are you kidding me, my man? So one thing that we're doing is I'm doing an opportunity call. We're doing one tomorrow at 4 p.m. Bring your teams, bring your prospects. This is a recruiting call. Make no mistake about it. I share about 10, 12, 15 minutes on mindset and how I perceive the world. And then I go through the opportunity, how I perceive it. It's just my opinion. I think the team and the community and the network is number one. The product is number two, and the income opportunity is number three, and they all work in synergy. So I give just an overview of that, and then I literally open it up to the most raw Q&A. If people are skeptical, I want the skeptics to come out. I honor the skeptics because everybody thinks it. So I honor them by having the guts to speak up. If people ask me about money, I'll go over to the money tree. If people ask me about income or health, I'll answer questions about health. If they ask me questions I don't know, I will simply say, I don't know. But I know somebody who does know, and I'll leverage my team to get that knowledge. And that's kind of how we're scaling, because I'm just doing all the heavy lifting. We do these once every other day. We were scaling so much, I was doing 2 a day. And then I told my team, I was like, I do have other businesses I got to run. So we went to every other day. And it's been really innovative because now they literally just have to get people these calls. I said, I'll do all the heavy lifting. You do the follow-up. So that's another way that we've been not only plugging in, but it's a whole different level that's helped us a lot. So everybody's welcome to come. It's not just for us, it's for anybody.
Cool. Definitely. I'll get that info from you. And anything to kind of wrap it up, because we're sort of pretty much done with our conversation.
I would share whatever's lighting you up, whatever it is, whatever greater later it is, whether it's, I think the world's starving for women empowerment. So any of the women out there, this is a huge opportunity. I think a whole generation of rock star women are going to come out of this. Why can't it be you? You want to hear a couple other companies that came out of the last recession? Little company called Uber, $11 billion. A little company called Airbnb, I think it's like $3 billion. A little company called Venmo, $300 million. So there's greatness that's going to come out of this. It's just a matter of if we're going to partake in that or not. So whatever that is, start to share it. Start to share it. When we look at the brain and we know how the chemicals in our brain operate, oxytocin is one of the best feel-good chemicals. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Oxytocin, think of O, oxytocin, and think of others, O. When we share what our greater later is, we share from a radical humility standpoint, we share what it is we're fighting for. We share why we're so excited. It releases the good stuff in our brain once we get past the crap of being judged. So I say, I share what I'm doing. That's why I think I've said at least 3 or 4 times, my greater later is to help solve the world's happiness problem. Every time I say that, literally my brain releases a chemical called oxytocin. That makes me feel awesome. That makes me feel awesome about my vision. That makes me share it more. The more I share it, the more it comes to light. So whatever your greater later is, number one, start thinking about that and then start sharing it with the world. Some people are going to judge you. So what? Keep sharing it. It's not for the other people, it's for you. So that's how I look at how I share. It's every time I share, it's not only just for the world, it's for me. It's to kind of convene in my belief stack, in my belief system. And just tell people what you're doing. So with that being said, I'm going to put it on speaker view, and then can you rise up so I can see the CBD part?
Yeah. And Karen, will you now help me, please?
What do you mean?
Because I want to put it on a different thing, and I want you to take a picture of everybody.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Now dumb down a little bit so I can see your face.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Okay. And maybe back up.
Okay.
All right.
Luckily, I'm wearing something on my bottoms.
Oh, this is perfect. Okay. All right. I mean, so I think that. Oh wait. Yeah, give me that. Hold on.
Okay.
All right. Perfect. And I think that's a great way to end it, because tell people what you're doing. We have something that the world is starving for. People are starving for an empowered community, positive people, brain health, gut health, immune health, residual income, passive income, ways to buy and sell things from home without leaving their house. Like, what else does the world need during a global pandemic? So that's why I love your shirt, Wendy, because it's like, oh, it's what she's doing. That's how awesome that is.
It's the best way, because when we used to be able to go out of our houses comfortably, yeah, I'd wear the shirt and everybody would be like, wow, you know, tell me about it, da da da. So now I should say I sell CBG, so then they'd be like,
yes,
what?
yes. The best differentiator on the planet.
Yeah, exactly. Ricky, thank you. Just thanks for hanging out. I'm really, really glad. And if you need anything, I'm here
Yeah, no,
for you.
thank you.
So, like, seriously, anything, dude. I'm there. Leverage me. Yeah, use me. But you know, like that.
You guys are
Thank
awesome.
you, everyone.
Wendy and Kara are the best, man. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone, for being on the call. I really appreciate it, and look forward to connecting tomorrow.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye, y'all. Love you.